Heaven's Journey to Life. Love as a Secret to Attraction. Day 71. To read this post, it must be understood that we're walking this process and blog, Heaven's Journey to Life, multidimensionally, which means each post covers one dimension, but is interconnected into and as multidimensions in our process of walking the point and question of who I am and how this I created and manifested this entire physical existence. Thus suggested to read this blog from day one, as many of the points in previous dimensions and days and posts are always brought through into the next days and dimensions and posts, as all the dimensions interconnect, as the multidimensionality we've created and manifested as our separation as energy and consciousness from and of life and equality and oneness. Thus, if one is faced with this post and have not yet read this blog from day one, suggest that self first start from day one, as otherwise one will have no context of many dimensions that is walked in this post that has been dealt with in detail in previous posts. Now that we have looked at the point of the religion of self and mind and energy, and how we've, from the beginning to now, existed in the acceptance and allowance of who we are and will be, and thus became as manifested singularities and human beings and minds in blind faith of and as our energy experiences from the beginning to now, possessed in our separation to such an extent where we never questioned, investigated, and introspected the consequence, the existence of ourselves as religion of and as energy and energy experiences, manifested and so manifested ourselves within and without through consequence, instead of self-directive, principled, equal, and one awareness, which is why and how we can't remember how and why it is that we got to where we are today within and as this physical existence, as we had never from the beginning been equal to and one with the cause as ourselves that manifested the consequences from and of the separation of ourselves in the relation between energy and substance, the mind, and the physical. So, from this automated, autopilot existence of ourselves from the beginning to now, have a look at the consequences this existence of ourselves in and as acceptance and allowance and cause and effect had manifested within ourselves and each other regarding the existence and manifestation of superiority and inferiority and attraction that we had come to trust in blind faith possession. Continuing now with walking the relationships within and between superiority, inferiority as the mind, and reactions and experiences within ourselves, with some practical and tangible examples regarding how the superior and inferior existence within ourselves manifested the nature of attraction and or resistance within ourselves towards others, and so manifested the dimensions and experiences of love and hate, like and dislike, etc., and how we feel and experience ourselves to and towards others, which all originated from and of this original manifestation, acceptance and allowance, of and as the superior and inferior relationships and manifestations within ourselves as the mind. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to inequality and oneness with and as energy and substance, the mind and the physical, from the beginning to now. Remember, see, realize, and understand how, from the beginning, as the Eve and female and Adam and male singularities attracted to and towards each other's superiorities, with the superiorities existent as that within themselves that they've manifested and prioritized into and as their primary beingness and manifested singularity existence, and were thus attracted to each other's superiorities as that within and as their inferiorities had not realized, seen, and understood, is in fact existent within and as themselves, but had not yet prioritized and patterned and manifested into and as their primary beingness and manifested singularity existence. And so, when and as the manifested singularities were in the process of merging, manifesting the externalized positive energy experience interpretation, both individually and together believed that they were experiencing the more of themselves within themselves together, when, if only they had in and from the beginning equalized themselves within themselves, through introspecting and investigating and questioning the nature and existence of attraction, this equality would not have manifested into and as an externalized experience of separation, and this oneness would not have been externalized, merging within and as their aura and presences, but a oneness within and as themselves, as energy, being one with themselves in the equality of and as their awarenesses as energy, in and as and from their devil Adam and male, and Eve and female, as well as God and energy authority existences within and as themselves. And in that process of equality and oneness with themselves as energy, being one step closer to the realization of their oneness and equality with existence and substance as a whole. But so, to this day, oneness and equality had become limited to separation within and as externalized experiences, where two human beings would merge and come together within and as relationships, equally experiencing the positive energy experience interpretation of the more of themselves together, and the oneness externalized experience, where within this moreness, they experience within themselves together only manifest the interpretation, belief, and experience of being complete and fulfilled, when it is not in fact real, but all simply based on energy experience that does not ever last and sustain itself. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to, from the beginning to now, in equality and oneness within as energy and substance, the mind and the physical. Remember, seen, realized, and understood how, within and as relationships within the context of partners and sex, love, as the energy experience that manifests in the minds of human beings, is still no different to and as the externalized positive energy experience interpretation manifestation that the two merged manifested singularities experience within and between each other, where the externalized positive energy experience interpretation, which they both in fact experienced within themselves and their own manifested singularities and beingness, within and as that one location and position within existence, where their molecules into infinity condensed and merged, filling that one point and position within existence with an extensive amount of ripples, reverberations, and resonances that manifested from existence into and as their beingness manifested singularities as a positive energy experience interpretation, moreness, when it was simply, really, the densification and condensing of themselves and their molecules into infinity. In this, as the love experience, now manifest within and between human beings as minds, this exact same equal and one principle applies where two human beings' minds, manifested within and as their self, mind, and energy religion of who I am and will be, and so have become as manifested within their acceptances and allowances of the inferiorities and superiorities existent within themselves, would, upon recognizing a superiority in another that is in fact existent as an inferiority within themselves, manifest the relationship of attraction, where attraction is thus that relationship towards another human being we form and manifest as an attraction, not to them as who they are as a being, but in fact an attraction towards ourselves as what has become existent as an inferiority within ourselves that we had not yet developed and prioritized into and as a superiority, in making it a prominent part of our ego and mind existence and living in and as this physical body. With taking, for example, a point of confidence in communication, when and as being A, within their mind physical living, has inferiorized confidence in the acceptance and allowance of who I am and will be and have become, as confidence in communication and interaction with others non existing within them, when the potential of it, in fact, does. The potential of confidence existing means it's simply a process of investigating, questioning, and introspecting why and how this acceptance and allowance of non-existence of confidence in communication and interaction with others is existent, removing the acceptance and allowance and aligning self and self's living to assist and support self in being and becoming equal and one in communication and interaction with others in confidence. And so, being A meets being B, with being B resonating confidence within their mind physical living, which initiate the connection and relationship as experience of attraction to and towards being B's superiority of confidence that is in inferiority in being A, where the existence and nature of attraction manifest as being A's mind becomes aware of a superiority that it does not yet contain and have recognized within itself, that is in fact existent within itself as a potential, but will, instead of confidence being and becoming an equal and one living expression of who self is in all contexts of relationships and living, will thus download and upload the specific program of confidence within communication and interaction with others through and as sex, as being A's mind draws them to and towards being B, closer and closer and closer through rising the energies of attraction within being A's mind until the energies overload into and as the merging of and as sex. This relationship between the mind's evolution, the physical, and sex is thoroughly walked within the What is Sex interview series available on EQUAF. As what words such as confidence have become as the mind in our living in the physical, programs of energy that facilitate the evolution of the mind, instead of words being practical living words, assisting and supporting within and as the equality and oneness of who we are within ourselves and our living. And so, when and as the mind exists in an inferiority with a particular and specific context and definition as program and system of a word, and recognize it as a superiority in another mind, will so initiate the process and manifestation of attraction, so that the energies accumulate into the attraction of merging to such an extent that the physical merging of sex manifest, so that within and during sex, the transfers of the superiority programs from being B can be downloaded and uploaded into being A to manifest and become a superiority program and system. And so being A's mind will come to possess and own an equal and one program system of confidence and interaction and communication with others. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand what love, in fact, is. As from the beginning, it started within and as the manifestation of and as the externalized positive energy experience interpretation within and between the two manifested singularities as the ultimate energy accumulation evolution, initiated and manifested from and as the intensity of and as attraction within and between the two manifested singularities in the beginning. Thus, the energy experience of and as love within the context of relationships, partners, sex, and the intensity of and as the energy experience of and as love is dependent on the intensity and nature of and as attraction as determined by and through the mind within and as its existence, inferiorities, and superiorities. Where if being A's mind in its relationship to confidence was non-existent, as the being could in no way conceptualize themselves as being equally as confident within and as the communication and interaction with others, the mind would intensify the attraction and attraction experience within itself to such an extent that the being physically and mentally become energetically possessed and so drawn to and towards being B. As the mind ensures the connection manifest to and towards being B, to manifest into and as a sexual encounter to within that process ensure that being A's mind upgrade itself within as the program and construct and system of confidence, even though mostly the programs downloaded within and as the mind and being A's mind will not mean that they are suddenly and will suddenly become confident in interaction and communication with others, but will access this ability subtly when with being B in participating in communication and interaction with others, where it will seem easier when with being B to be confident in communication and interaction with others. Why and how it is that being A would experience the confidence when with being B is as being A access their downloaded and uploaded confidence program from being B as manifested within and during the act of sex, thinking and believing that it's their relationship with B that changed them, when in fact it was the downloading and uploading of programs and systems as words of and as being B's mind within and during the act of sex. I forgive myself that I haven't accepted and allowed myself to see, realize, and understand how the velocity and extent of the experience of love is in fact the velocity and extent of the mind's need for upgrade and evolution of itself within itself in relation to particular programs and systems that is existent within and as its inferiorities and unawarenesses, and as with the manifested singularities from and in the beginning, interpreting the velocity of their attraction as emerging closer and closer and closer coming together, so do human beings interpret the velocity of and as attraction as merging closer and closer and closer coming together, when all the while the pull and draw to each other experience is the mind manipulating the human through, within, and as a physical body for it to possess and own programs and systems for itself that is transferred within and during sex. And in and as this process and existence and manifestation of attraction, we're moving closer and closer and closer towards each other as mind, and farther and farther and farther away into and as separation from ourselves within and as who we are here as beings, in and as equality and oneness, with and as the physical body. I commit myself to show how and why love is in fact self and mind and energy interest, where the experience of love only serves the interest of the individual experiencing it within and as their own minds, and in no way has visibly within this physical existence, within and as the nature and existence of human beings contributed in any way to any significant, substantial, eternal change in the condition and state of the human being in this world, but has only proven to serve the internal mind experience of the individual accessing and experiencing it within and as their own minds, within and as the context and definition of knowledge and information their minds had come to define love as an energy experience for themselves. In this, I commit myself to show the direct connection within and between the love experience and the money experience, within the nature and context of attraction, where, as with love, we're attracted to superiorities within another, that is, inferiorities within ourselves. As with money, we're attracted to the physical superiorities of others, that is, physical inferiorities within our world's realities and environments, and so our experience with money becomes equal to and one with our experience with love, attracted to that which we do not have, possess, and own, and will thus form a relationship to and towards it within and as the principle and experience of attraction to get and have and possess it, as love and money had become exploited within this world system's consumerism to serve only the interest of the individual. In this, I commit myself to show how this same principle applies to everything and everyone we experience an attraction and connection towards, to religious spiritualities, movements, products, people, fantasies, future projections, whenever one experience any form of connection and attraction that initiate a decision for self based on an experience, that something and someone represents a superiority that is existent as an inferiority within and as self, and so will form a connection and merging and joining of the religion, spirituality, and movement to, in so doing, align one's mind to and as a superiority that the something and someone represent, and in that merging, joining, and aligning will create and manifest the belief of self becoming equal and one and whole, within and as self, when all the while this experience of completeness and moreness of and as self is the mind satisfied with an upgrade and addition of systems and programs for its own survival and evolution. I commit myself to, through writing, self-forgiveness, and self-corrective application, assist and support me to identify to and towards who and what in my world I experience attraction and connection that manifest the experience of love and like, that something and someone that has more importance in my world within me than even myself and anything and anyone else in this world in reality, and assist and support myself to identify what of them as the direct mirror of and as me is it that I am in fact attracted to and towards, that I haven't yet accepted and allowed myself to develop within and as me in who I am in my living. And that attraction thus simply indicate and signified what of me I haven't yet realized as me, is existent as potential within and as me to be and become within myself. If one require more specific information regarding the practicality of how to walk this point in identifying attraction superiorities within others, please visit the Destiny forums, where one can ask questions within the context of the nature of attraction one experience, and will be assisted and supported practically with how to identify what it is within others that self had not yet accepted and realized as self, inequality and oneness, and from this, how to practically assist and support self in one's process of self-equality and oneness.